welcome to episode number 61 of the Eavesdrop podcast, Quarantine Edition.
That's right.
Team Owners Edition. We have the Honorable Ben Spoont from the Misfits, Mutineers, Mayhem Familia from Miami. Did I get
what up?
Did I get all that right?
It's all there.
It's all there. Good. I want to let you guys know that this episode is brought to you by both HECZ and DoorDash, and I'll tell you guys a little bit more about them in the middle of the video or somewhere around that part. It's made it super difficult, Ben, for me to continue to create this podcast because from the beginning of its inception, I always wanted this podcast to be an in-person conversation. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Somewhere where we can connect our chakras. I just made that up because I was watching something a long time ago, and it just, yeah, you know how it goes.
Oh yeah, I agree. In person is always better, I think.
It is. So you and I met in New York about 4 years ago. 4 years ago,
at like a synopsis event, maybe.
Was it
for the first time?
3As or synopsis? I don't even know. 4As?
Yeah.
Synopsis. I don't know. One of those.
Maybe.
So it was you, my man Marty, Laser Chickens, and my boy Dan Chacon, our agent.
We were having some pizza.
Some super pizza. Where are you from originally?
I'm from down here in Florida.
Okay, you are from Florida. All right, let me start out. Let's get started, and then we'll continue on that story. Who are you today, Ben Spoont? Who are you today?
Today, where I am today is like a master navigator.
Okay.
It's interesting because, as you know, like these teams and everything gets so big, and you have a lot of people around you, and hopefully you have a lot of good people around you, and you're just at this point, I'm more of like an empowerer of good people. It's kind of what I've transitioned into rather than a doer of all things, a jack of all trade, because I found it hard for us with 3 brands and all these different teams to really manage everything. And so I'm now this, master of none, jack of all manager, if you would, of good people and empowering them. That's kind of who I've transitioned into rather than a doer of everything.
Man, I need, yeah.
But there are still aspects of this business that I love getting into, like into the weeds. And that's obviously on the competitive side with the players. The negotiation with players is mainly all handled with me. Trades, transfers, any types of big acquisitions or selling of a player. I love that shit.
Yeah, I do too. I like the playing of the video games more than anything. I like the filming of the videos more than anything. But for the last 10 years, I've been on this sort of run where I had to do what everybody else is doing as well,
Dude, when we first started, we were in League of Legends only.
Mm-hmm.
And my days back then were filled with playing League of Legends like 3 to 4 hours a day. With have you ever spoken with Barry Edelweiss?
No.
I think he's now with Evolved with Ryan Morrison in that group. Player rep. They do a lot of he reps a lot of Overwatch guys. But I play a lot of League. And now I'm lucky. The only games I'm playing these days are Skylanders Trap Team with my 6-year-old on his Xbox. It's unfortunate that those days are past, at least for me. But I agree that's the best.
So what was a daily life for you before this? Like, do you have an office at home, or do you guys have like an office space? Like, how does the Misfits world work?
Yeah. So I do have an office at home. However, my wife, as the queen as she is, has commandeered it because she's a psychologist, and she's been seeing her patients virtually on Zoom and all those on those platforms from home. So she's taken the home office. We do have a big office space, temporary office space here in South Florida, and also we're building an 18,000 square foot office space, which should be ready. I know it's a little unfortunate the timing of that being happening, but that's going to be done, they say, the end of July.
Okay.
Ready for occupancy.
Wow, that's so dope. And it's in South Florida, like whereabouts?
Yeah, in Boca Raton.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like it, man.
So So everyone's operating basically from home. We've got our players can use our current facilities now because, as you know, those guys are like family units
Hmm.
regardless. So they've all been quarantining together, especially the Overwatch League guys. So those guys are coming in and out of the office, but me and my main center now here is here at home. How about
Very
you?
well. I have the hex quarters, and I have my home, and we are 6 minutes apart. So, when this began, we told each other, me and the players, the COD players, mostly, and the content creators, that we weren't going to be going out and just going about. If we were going to be able to create content, everybody had to quarantine. And
Hmm.
take all proper precautions to be able to do that, So we did, and we were able to do it right. We even have this like line behind that line that you see right here. That's 6 feet apart from here, and every
Mm.
station here is 6 feet apart from each other. So we went above and beyond to just make sure. But
Hmm.
I think for what it's worth, everybody quarantined themselves, did the responsible thing. Not that it changed their life, by a lot because they didn't go out
Sure.
anyway. Aside from a team dinner, like once a week or something. But aside from that, it was just one of those things where we just sort of were used to this thing. Um,
That's right. That makes sense.
yeah, so having the office space or having the hex quarters so close to my house makes it easier for me to be able to say, all right, I can run in there and get whatever I need, bring it back home, and vice versa, right? Matt, my right hand man, camera guy, doer of all things, brings. If I need anything on the way home, because my house is on the way to his house, he'll bring something by if I need it. But again, it's one of those things where you try to be socially responsible, right? It's not about you selfish punks. It's about the
Hmm.
people around you who are the weak ones, right? We protect the
That's
weak
right.
as always. So I don't know. I don't see any issue with the wearing of the mask. I have one. I bought a whole bunch of them with like designs and shit. I don't know. I do it because I'm socially conscious and want to. The thing is this: here in Texas, man, here in Texas, you get looked weird either way. If you're
Yes.
not wearing it, you're an asshole. If you're wearing it, oh, I can't believe you're falling for that asshole.
Oh yeah, Texas is its own unique beast.
Yeah, we're gonna separate from the United States and do our
I
own
know.
Texit. Yeah,
I know. I know.
it's
I know.
big
It's
enough.
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's get into it, man. Who were you when you started all this?
Mm. I was this, I would say, shaky, unknown entrant into this space where there were legends like yourself, um, who had pre-existed and honestly welcomed me with open arms into the industry.
How old
I
were
think
you?
from
How old
the
were you at the time?
so it was 4.5 years ago, so 29,
Okay,
28, 29,
same. I started
and
same time.
we just really started with a League of Legends Challenger Series team. I mean, literally, we bought that team from Monte Cristo and Chris Badawi from the origins of their Riot, issues. They had obviously the spot in NALCS, but then they had these five guys. It was like Selfie, Wisdom, Yuki, Dreams. They had these five guys, um, player contracts, and they qualified for what was then the EU Challenger Series circuit, and we acquired that spot. And first cycle, we got first split, got it promoted to LCS, and from there we just kind of blew up.
All right, let's jump back 5 years from there. What?
Before this,
Yeah,
before
yeah.
esports.
Who were you before this? Let's start there.
So it's
I want
interesting.
to know your origin story. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
that's what I like about this. I get to know people. I get to ask questions, and that's where it gets
So
interesting.
so let's go back. So high school sweethearts with my current wife. So we went to high school together. Been dating together since we've been 17. Haven't broken up one day.
Uh,
So we're going on, 16, 17 years, something crazy like that, which is wild.
that's awesome, man.
And then, yeah, no, it's amazing. And we went to college together at Duke in North Carolina, and then we moved up to Boston for 6 years while she was getting her PhD psychology. And when I was in Boston, I was doing banking, and it was, a miserable banking life.
What kind of
And
banking?
so on buy-side equity research banking.
Oh, okay.
So basically, I was working for the Bank of New York, which was acquired by Mellon, or it was working for Mellon Corporation, which was bought by Bank of New York, and they merged. And then, so I was doing research on stocks, healthcare stocks, technology stocks, energy stocks, and that life was really boring and also long hours. Although I would say probably working more hours now, but
Yeah.
I'm loving what I'm doing
Of
now,
course.
so a little bit different. So after I stopped that, I went to work for actually my in-laws, who are also co-founders with me on this business. They're not involved operationally day to day, but they are co-founders of the business. They've actually had a long history in media and entertainment space. So I worked with them as my
Little
there he
Ben.
is,
What's his name?
as little Ben comes in. Asher, you want to come say hi, or you just want to hang out? Just want to hang out?
Just so you guys know, Ben warned that
Get some water.
that his son might come in, and I said absolutely. Look, I'm a family man first, like anything else. I said no problem. I'm with it 100%.
There he is. There he is. So, and there he goes. I'm in his room, hiding out. So I went to go work for and with them on some of their businesses, and from there it was kind of the entrepreneurial spirit was more born. And I also did from there. I also co-founded a pet industry product.
Oh my God!
So
Go on.
It was a company called Flush Puppies, which sold flushable dog poop bags.
Oh
So
my God,
water
that's so smart.
soluble.
Wow. Okay, go
Yeah,
on.
you have all these dogs taking craps in
I
people's
have 7 of
houses.
them. So yeah, I
Yeah.
get it.
So
Wow.
dogs take craps, and what do you do with it? What do you pick it up with? You pick it up with a plastic bag, or you pick it up with your hands with a paper towel, and you run to the toilet. That process seems a little bit messy to me. And so we found, if you think about, a lot of times you swallow a Tylenol gel cap or something like a gel cap.
Yeah.
It's actually a plastic film that you're swallowing.
Yeah.
Your body then breaks it down because of the temperature, and then the medicine disperses. So that same type of compound, we were able to integrate into a dog poop bag,
Yeah.
which was septic and sewer safe. And we grew that business really big. We were going to the trade shows every year. We were in PetSmart, Pet Supermarket, Amazon, the whole shebang. We had other offshoots of the bags. We had a bag called Clean Paws, which was a fully recycled. It was made out of 100% recycled plastics. So the whole eco-conscious, eco-friendly, the whole eco-friendly, eco-conscious route, we did that for quite some time, and then sold that business off.
Dude,
and so after selling that business,
yeah,
went into esports.
Dude, hello Asher, how are you? Good. Who's your favorite team in video games? Your dad's team?
What team?
It's
Which
your
one,
team
though?
too.
Yeah, I know. Which one? Misfits, Mayhem, or Mutineers?
Yes.
Call of
Call
Duty.
of Duty. Call of Duty wins.
So
All right.
what's your favorite game, though? Quickly, tell him. What's your favorite game? What are you playing right now? Skylanders, right? All right, go play. Here, give me that thing. You're gonna keep it? Okay. Well, good thing I got another one.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Well, first of all, when you said pet industry, immediately I'm like, because my wife is like super into that. She's coming up with some products herself, and I was. Dude, when you said disposable bags, I just imagined. Now, I will say this, okay? We have 7 dogs. We have a big backyard, big space, so nobody's on top of each other, and we keep a clean household. Now, that aside, I see her out there picking up poop. We have a poop service that comes in. They're like,
oh, sure.
Yeah, poop service that comes in, picks up the poop, takes it out, disposes of it. But when you said that, I'm like, why did it? So tell me what
flushable dog poop bag.
Which makes the most sense. No, there's nothing to think about. It's the most common sense shit there is.
We should have been on Shark Tank with that thing.
Yeah, man. Well, look, congrats on the sale of that. I've never seen it. Can you say the name of it? Is it still around?
They're called Flush Puppies. I'm not sure if they're still around. Someone bought it for the intellectual property of the
Hmm.
bags.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what they're doing with it quite now. That's been 6 years, so I haven't really kept up with it. But you can
Dude.
probably still find them on either Amazon or at your local stores. Flush Puppies. Yeah, it's
Oh
pretty
my
wild.
God. Did you retain any equity in that? Do you still get?
No, nothing. We sold it out fully.
Oh man, that's awesome, man. Congrats. That's such a good idea. All right. So
If dogs
inventor,
poop in your house, I mean, what are you gonna do?
wasn't it, what was the movie with Adam Sandler and was it Jack Black that they
Mm.
invented a spray that made poop disappear, like it dissolved it,
No,
but
I don't remember that
you
one.
gotta watch it. It's so good. I'm not gonna ruin it for you. You gotta watch it. If anybody watching this knows, put the name of the movie in the comment section down below. So you sell this company about 6 years ago. What were you playing video games? Like, how did you come across this
Yeah, I mean,
weird ass world that is esports?
yeah, so always was playing video games growing up. Wow, it worked. It melted. All right, buddy. Okay. See ya. So always grew up playing video games, part of the Halo generation, the Tony Hawk generation, Doom, the some of the original games really were the foundation. GoldenEye, Soul Calibur, a lot of classics. Although I think Soul Calibur, you can now they have it as a game you could play still.
Yeah.
So grew up playing video games. Halo was really the first game that really hooked me into college. Always followed professional Halo, which brings me back a little bit to Ogre 2, who's now our Mutineers GM,
Hmm.
the GOAT. And so, but always followed this thing, people watching other people play video games, right? And before it was really mainstream, we were always reading about this thing called esports in a lot of media trade magazine, right? And so what I really did was the God's honest truth is when the whole thing went down in with Riot, with NALCS, with those three teams, I guessed
What
it's
went
not
down?
very hard.
What went down?
Well, when Riot removed three teams in North American League of Legends back in 2016,
Hmm.
it was like Team TDK or Renegades and somebody else. They made them sell, including Monty and Chris Badawi with Renegades, which Hastro and Envious bought that spot.
Hmm.
And then I literally cold emailed Brandon Beck, who's the co-founder of Riot Games with Mark Merrill. I just guessed the syntax of their email, which is not very hard,
Hmm.
and said, "Hey, my family and I would be really very much interested in acquiring a spot in League of Legends. Could you please connect us with these groups that have to sell their teams?" He wrote back saying that he was in China and that he was forwarding my email to someone who forwarded it, who forwarded it, to forwarded it, and eventually they put me in touch with Chris Badawi,
Yeah.
and I'll be done soon, and we negotiated for the buying of their spot in Europe,
Hmm.
and that's really was it started from a cold email
How
to
did you
Brandon Beck.
so on the trade magazines or whatever, like what was it about it? Was it the audience, the numbers, like
The
what?
audience, yeah, it was just like this thing about this audience growth year after year after year after year of it growing and growing and growing. And with our background, at least with my in-laws background in the media space, the value of media rights and advertising and sponsorship, that's really what drove the interest. We also had through um, through some exposure to some investments, some more other interesting insight into. Oh, it has wax. Yeah, has some.
I
Uh,
love kids, dude. It's like this guy waxed, Dad. I remember
yeah.
being that kid too. Just walking in, like, Dad, I got shit on
Oh
my
my god.
hands.
Yeah. Oh my god. Asher, go chill. Go play some games or drink some water. Um, so yeah, so we knew a little bit about the industry, but knew nothing about the operational aspects of it. Nothing. Couldn't have told you the first thing about how you got five guys to come together to play a game. Knew nothing about that. Just knew about it. And we bought that team and brought on, some good people to help me operate it. And I really I soaked in everything I could for the first. I mean, I'm still learning everything.
We
Like
all are. Yeah.
Call of Duty is a new scene for me, personally, and I'm learning as much as I can from people like you, as much as I can. As like you just said, we're always learning, but the first real year or so of the business was really learning.
Man, that to me, these origin stories make it. I don't even know how I came across it. I think I saw Halo on USA Today or something, and I was just, or on USA, and I was just like, oh my god, this is like an actual thing here. I always knew about competitive video games. I just never, something sparked my interest in it, and went full force since then. Obviously, with the way that you guys have entered the space and then done all the appropriate maneuvers to get into like the major esports, obviously, right? You have League of Legends, Overwatch, and now Call of Duty. What is it about the franchise model that made it super cool for you?
He's not going to leave us alone. I did warn you when you asked me to join. I was like,
Yeah.
listen, I'm at home, and this kid is going to definitely interrupt.
Yeah. All right, we're going to let Ben take a quick break. In the meantime, we're going to give a huge shout-out to our sponsors, HECZ and DoorDash. HECZ, as you guys know, has been a part of the podcast for a very long time. We certainly appreciate their continued support, especially in times like these where we want to make the best content possible, and we are doing it by all means necessary. In the words of the great Casey Neistat, never let perfection get in the way of good enough. With that said, we have to pay attention to this website, okay? As a male, 40 years young, you have to take into account that your skin and everything else in between or inside of it may not necessarily go according to the plan or the way that you felt your entire life. Hair loss, ED, erectile dysfunction, skincare, the works. If you go to forhims.com, you can take your pick of different things. Hair loss, I'm good with that. Skincare, however, that's something that I do take care of, and I do pride myself in being able to stay looking young as ever. They don't call me the 40-year-old phenom for nothing. So what's the problem? What's the common issue men face, but they don't want to talk about? Think long and hard. Right? 40% of men, listen to the stat, 40% of men by the age of 40 struggle from not being able to get and maintain an erection. Why do guys turn to weird solutions or do nothing at all when they can turn instead to medicine and science? Expensive pills, injections where no man wants an injection. Ooh, I can't imagine that. They share, why do all that, right? If you go to forhims.com, right, you could discover a tiny pill worthy of a big celebration. Okay, the solution is forhims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness for men. Okay, period, end of story. Skincare for me is the one thing that I do. I wash my face with cold water at night, and in the morning, when I'm taking a hot, steamy bath, I apply the lotion immediately after that, right? Like I got these wrinkles here, the crow's feet, as they call it. They could be worse, but they're not. I like them. I've lived a very fun life with lots of smiles and lots of laughter. So what was I supposed to expect besides these happy lines, right? If you try HIMS today, by starting out with a free online visit, go to forhims.com/eavesdrop5. That's forhims.com/EAVESDROP and the number 5, forhims.com/eavesdrop5. The prescription products are subject to doctor approval and require an online consultation with the physician who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Now think about the weird situations that you can get into, the embarrassment that you may, something that you shouldn't be embarrassed about, right? Because a lot of people go through it. Having to show up and have this discussion, it's uncomfortable. But when you're able to do an online consultation with people who understand what you're going through, who have experience in the field, they're going to be able to guide you in the right direction. This is why I like this thing, right? This is why I like forhims.com, because they're able to help you without the awkward in-person conversation. In situations like these, where you're quarantined and there's nothing to do, like this solves that. It absolves you from having to go outside. Okay? So remember, that's forhims.com/eavesdrop. You have to see the website for full details and safety information, because this could cost hundreds if you went to an in-person doctor's, right? or pharmacy. This gets taken care of online as it should, right? 4hims.com/eavesdrop5 is the way to go for you to start your trial today. Now, we're going to move on to the second one of my favorites out there, and that is none other than DoorDash. As you guys know, I'm an avid user of DoorDash. I use it daily. I mean that. Daily, I use it. Any single time that I think the last order was $400, and it was from Panda Express. We were having a content day, and for content here at the HECZ quarters, we like to feed the talent. I'm part of the town, so you know that we're going to eat good. And instead of having Maddie go out and go get the food, we just ordered DoorDash, ordered a bunch of stuff, and we did it well, right? We had good food. Because between the never-ending laundry cycles, the incoming emails, you've got plenty on your to-do list. Give yourself one less thing to worry about, and let DoorDash take care of your next meal. You want Chinese? They want pizza? And someone is craving froyo? There's something for everyone on DoorDash. Continue. You know what's crazy is that Seth is the only dude that always orders something different than somebody else. And I don't know why. My man's just picky. The other thing is that you can continue supporting local restaurants in your community safely. There are thousands of restaurants open for delivery on your DoorDash that need your patronage now more than ever. That is so true. That is so true. That is so true. So you can support your favorite restaurants on DoorDash. You've counted on restaurants. Now they're counting on you. And while their dining rooms may be closed, they're still open for delivery with DoorDash, right? DoorDash is the application that brings you food that you're craving right now right to your door. Ordering is easy. Open the DoorDash application. Choose what you want to eat, or do what I do. Close my eyes. Scroll, pick. And whatever you land on, you pick, unless it's something that you really want, but that's the way that I do it. With over 300,000 partners in the U.S., Puerto Rico, Canada, and Australia, you can support your local go-tos or choose from your favorite national restaurants like Chipotle, Wendy's, and the Cheesecake Factory. Many of your favorite local restaurants are still open for delivery. Just open the DoorDash application, select your favorite local restaurant, and your food will be left at your door. We have a table outside. Boom, you put it on there. You watch them get into their car. Once they get into your car, you allow that distance to happen. You grab your food, bring it inside, open it up, and enjoy your meal, because that's the way it should be. Okay, DoorDash deliveries are now contactless to keep communities we operate in safe. Right now, our listeners can get $5 off their first order of $15 or more and 0 delivery fees for the first month when you download the DoorDash application and enter code Eavesdrop. That is $5 off your first order and 0 delivery fees for a month when you download the DoorDash application in the App Store and enter code Eavesdrop, EAVESDROP. Don't forget, that's code Eavesdrop for $5 off with your first order of DoorDash. Let's get back into the mix with my man Ben.
So really we were almost exclusively interested in the franchise model, because we felt that the only real way to extract value from our perspective as sort of a newcomer into the scene was through locking in sort of longevity with a game publisher, and gaining access to media rights through the league distribution pools. Because media rights scales exponentially and sponsorship scales linearly. So basically, linearly, yeah. So sponsorships going like that, but media rights should go hockey sticks. As the number of eyeballs come in, the value of the media rights should skyrocket. And our only way to gain access to that was through a franchise model. And so that's why we really honed in and keened in on that. Obviously, also, especially with League of Legends, they had the promotion relegation model at first. And I know Call of Duty also had that too. That's scary as an operator of a business when you are trying to lock in sponsorship deals and all the other different things that come with running the business, to have, a plan. How can you can't plan for 5 years if you don't know you're going to be there in 6 months. Right. That's really scary to put a lot of money into something like that.
Yeah. Trust me. I mean, for me, it became just like you. out of passion, and it's just something that I love doing, right? Do you ever see yourself not being a part of this thing, like now that you've discovered it? Like, no, whether
No.
you get to a point to where you get lucky enough to be able to just, sit back and enjoy your team, and not that you don't do that now, not that I don't do that now, but there comes a sense of relief when you're able to say, okay, we're on autopilot now, right? Like now it's all about maintaining.
Dude,
it's all about
100%. So like my biggest realization of that came actually very recently when the Super Bowl was in Miami. It was in town. I was sick with the flu. Looking back, I was like, "Oh, did I have corona?" No, I did not.
You don't know that.
Antibodies were no. I had the antibody test was negative,
Ooh.
so I haven't had it yet. Unless the antibody test was false negative. But
yeah.
in any event, so we had a really big Warzone Modern Warfare event at the Super Bowl with a sponsor, with Verizon Media. And I was sick with the flu. And we had this massive event where we had NFL players, we had our guys, we had this Verizon execs. It was this massive party that I couldn't go to. And we had sponsorship elements, media elements, tournament elements, all the different things, because we ran basically a 2v2 tournament. And I missed it. And I was supposed to be there to be the leader there and give a talk and pep talk to everybody there. And we were releasing a trailer for a piece of content that we were working on with Verizon. And I couldn't go to the event. And my wife went instead of me, or she's much better than me representing me at these events. But really the takeaway from that event was like, holy shit, this thing was executed near flawlessly. And I wasn't there to be like, oh, you got to fix this, or you got to fix that, or you got to fix this, and you got to fix that. And we just really have an incredible team now where if I'm out of commission, or if I need to, like I said in the beginning of this, just be there to empower people to do their job the way that they can do it, then shit, I've made it, right? Because then I can sit back and be like, I got great people here. Let me focus in on the things that I love, the competition, the players, that relationship with players, the game stuff, the coaches. I love dealing with that stuff. Those are the types of things that really drive me.
Yeah, good. And it is, right? And having the opportunity to enjoy your team without the endless, and I mean endless, amount of little things, little fires that you got to put out on a daily basis is one of the most satisfying things to experience, right? Because you actually remember why you got into it, right? Like the business stuff will always get in the way to some extent. Some love doing that part. Some love doing the analytics behind the finances, the analytics behind why we're losing, why we're winning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, competition, playing games, having fun is like at the core base of all this thing. And for me, that is like the sweet spot, right? Where you have the support system, the infrastructure. And I know this more than ever right now. I know this more than ever now because, with partnering with Andy, I get to experience that sort of support, right? Because for a very long time, it was just me. Now, Andy loves this thing, right? He's like, he's on it 24/7. I wake up.
I know, man.
My man's has favorited 1,000 things. I'm like, man, get some rest, go watch a movie. But he's in it, and I appreciate that because he gets to do the stuff that I'm not strong at because just my mental is just not there. My passion for spreadsheets is not there, right? So I'm enjoying that part of.
You may not be strong at it, but you are good at it because you built your company from the ground up into something massive, which is still big and still massive and still growing and still like the most popular iconic brand. I mean, so you may not love it, but you're good at it.
No, again, it's that part, like the other side of the not fun
sure.
part. I try to get Andy. I'm like, yo, we're gonna go to every single event, and it's gonna be fun. We're gonna go. We're gonna cheer on the boys. We're gonna make sure that they have their waters, and we're gonna be doing that. And he's like, every single one, and I'm like, why are you like? Let's just go enjoy ourselves, man. We get to wake up early. have some breakfast, go watch some games,
No.
get a
No. That's the
nightcap,
life.
get a nightcap at around 5 o'clock, and then go to bed at like 9. You know, you go to your room. I go to room.
Listen, that's the best. Go
Yeah.
to bed by 9. I'm loving that.
Yeah, trust me. People downplay that now. Young kids downplay that. It's like, I'm a night owl, nightlife, no team, no sleep.
No.
But when they get to a certain age, they're gonna be like, man. But I've always been like this, right? I've always been the dude that goes to bed early, right? My friends, who I'm still friends with today from high school and all through our 20s, they sometimes post pictures of like them at a nightclub, and I was like, yo, I remember that night. I was having the best sleep I've ever had in my life. It was a good night for me. And
I always that's amazing. I always joke with our guys pre-COVID when I'm like you, man. I'm lights out, eyes out by 9:30, but I'm also eyes open by like 5:30. So I'm up really really early and I'm ready to go. And so our COD guys would come into the office at around 2 p.m.
mm-hmm.
and they would walk in with deadpan face and be like, "Good morning."
Mm-hmm.
And what do you mean good morning?
It's a thing.
I'm like 2.5 meals in. Like my day's going like this, and they're walking in straight face.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's not good morning. It's good mid afternoon. I'm ready to go pick up my kid from school and go to bed.
Yeah.
You know, 5 o'clock dinner.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wild, man.
What are your hopes for this industry? And I'm not talking about a specific esport. I just think esports as a whole. In no other time in sports or competition has an owner been able to own multiple teams in multiple. Oh, actually, yes, they have. Right, there are several ones that have, that ownership, but not a lot of them do. It's not the culture that we're setting is sort of standard now, right? Where a team owner owns several teams in several esports. At one point, I was just a Call of Duty team owner, right? And then all of a sudden, Halo comes into play, and then Counter-Strike comes into play. But traditionally, it's always been this like sole focus. Like Jerry Jones only owns the Cowboys, from what I know. I obviously don't read up on that dude, even though he's like 5 minutes this way.
Yeah.
What are your hopes for the future of all this? Like, what's the end? Not the end goal, because I know this will never stop for passionate people like us. But what is it?
That's actually a great question. I mean, I guess it's twofold. One is to never stop focusing on providing a platform that allows for the best damn players in the world to shine, right? Because I think if we've done that, we've all failed, right? So if you're not showcasing the best players in the world, then we're not providing the most valuable form of sports entertainment that I think that we can be doing.
Yeah.
And so by that, you need to have really good amateur path to pro circuits, right? The various underlayer leagues. I think we need to be really focused on always trying to continue to provide the best entertainment and sports value that we can. And so part of that also comes in for me is really building and focusing in on like a sustainable model. I know it's like a boring ass buzzword, but it's true, right? Because right now the publishers hold a lot of the power and the weight in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And us as team owners are sometimes little tentacles off of the game publisher, when I think when you really look at it, we provide a tremendous amount of value back to them. And trying to create that equilibrium amongst ourselves is one of the things that I think we as team owners, and I know you've been very focused on it, and your boy Andy has too, is really trying to balance out that value proposition between everyone in the ecosystem. Really, for me, if that's one thing we can accomplish over the next 3 to 4 years, or even 2 to 3 years, is that balance, achieve a better balance. Because I think it's sometimes weighted unevenly. But I'd flip that back to you, man. What would you say on that one?
I want to get to an autopilot place. I want to get to a place where showing up to competition and winning is like my main focus, right? Instead of having to deal with like, how are we going to continue to take, build this plane as it's flying, right? Because that's what we're doing. Like we're already
Correct.
we're
all
already
doing
up there,
that.
right? We're already up there, and we're like fixing this thing here, putting out this little fire there. We need more fuel. We need more fuel. We need more fuel. Oh, another passenger we need to pick up. We need to drop off another passenger. Like all these stop and goes. You know, we'll get to a place too where it's just autopilot. Like there's processes that's just going to be like, this is how it's done. Here it goes. This is the best way to do it, where it's fair to both parties. Because at times in esports specifically, it's so player sided, and I'm with it to a certain extent. If it's fair, it's fair. But if it isn't, and there are some situations in which there isn't, and sometimes organizations are vilified for certain decisions that they make, where it's all fine and dandy when the bills are getting paid and somebody's getting their salary, but the second that a business decision to continue to do that for the majority of the organization has to be made, that one dude is like, well, since it's not benefiting me anymore, fuck this organization. You know what I mean? So I think that once we put those processes in place, I'll be at a much enjoyable place. But at the same time, and obviously I wouldn't be, doing the energy thing if I didn't love doing this build, right? It could have been really easy to be like, all right, cool, done, see you later, guys. Woo, did it. Fuck yeah, let's go. But there's something about building that just keeps you going. The same way ants and bees and, I mean, any animal out there with instincts that nobody teaches them, instincts obviously, they're just building, right? They know nothing but to wake up, work, sleep. Right, I think that I'm that sort of human where I'm just I don't know what I would do if I had to wake up, make breakfast for the wife and kid, and then watch TV. Like what there has to be some sort of product. There has to be some sort of goal that I'm working towards on a daily basis. Otherwise, what's the point? I tweeted out yesterday a commercial that I worked with Game Fuel. I think it's my first commercial, and I came up with this idea as to how Game Fuel is.
Dope.
Thank you. It's my idea was that you look at everything, right? You look at your mice and keyboard, you look at your controller, you look at your cameras, your monitors, everything. Like what other tools do you use that are on your desk at all times? And then I looked at Game Fuel, and then I'm like, I'm going to pitch this to them, and hopefully they are cool with it. I don't know. Like, I just know that at certain points in the year, advertising companies like to release certain pieces of content. And I just got lucky enough that I picked partners so good that I'm able to sort of just pitch an idea, and sometimes they're like, yeah, let's do it, or sometimes like, yeah, next year. But this year, I decided that I was going to win Content Creator of the Year. This is my creative outlet. I've always been an artist, and I've always liked making people laugh, making people feel something through content. So I said to myself, I'm gonna win Content Creator of the Year this year, right? And I'm gonna win it for my family, right? For the Energy family. I gotta bring something to it. I gotta bring something to Energy that says, hey, I am also a content creator, right? The C in CEO for me is camera guy, content executive, you name it, right? Chief, I don't know about that, but I was talking to Matt, and I told him about my idea, and he's like, why are you doing all this? Like, right, you have me, you have Josefo, you have all these people that do all the work. Like, why do you continue to want to edit your own videos? Why do you continue to want to be a part of and I don't know anything else. I don't know what I would do with myself if I wasn't creating some sort of anything. And I think that goes for your personality as well, from what I've seen, because having success already and then stepping into this thing and saying, all right, this is video games. I like video games, but I also want to make it a game for me. And I want to be able to beat this game. Whatever beating the game means, I'm going to go towards that. And you work towards
100%.
it daily.
100%. That's you've nailed it, right? It's that continuing growth and drive and passion for something. And it can be applied to different industries, right? You don't have to be a professional gamer and then that's the only way you could be as part of this industry. You have to have a passion for hard work, creativity, enthusiasm. All of those things are hallmarks of success as he's coming back in.
If you
how long?
Yeah, go ahead.
How long did it take you from conception of this idea to releasing it yesterday? How long was that process?
Well, the editing process, I partnered up with the same guy that we used to do the campaign, the Call of Duty miniseries on the Huntsman at the beginning of the year. That was the other thing, right? Like when we were doing this, I'm like, I want to do a Vision-esque video series for Call of Duty that lives on Call of Duty. I executive produced that content, and then I met Jeff Ross from Big Texas Entertainment here in Texas. Dude's right down the street, and I hit him up. I'm like, hey,
Amazing.
Small world, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we shot that, and I had so much fun. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put this on here, right? So I already did this. I'm already doing my vlogs. I'm already doing the podcast. I'm on Energy and Huntsman content. I'm on other people's content. I don't stream, but I was gonna. Long story short, I had this mission that I needed to bring honor to my team, and the only way that I felt, because what I was doing already was not enough. I wanted to lead the way of wanting to strive for something and doing it, and I just got in me, and I could not shake it, and I was just like, I gotta do more. So when I pitched them, and they were like, hell yeah, like I was like, awesome, let's go from the bedroom to the stage. This is how it goes. Everything, and then the way that
you got me amped up to go check this out now.
Yeah, well, I'm very proud of it, so you should. I don't know. It's one of the things. I know that you're running short on time, and my man's Asher over there needs some attention. So I'll just ask you one last thing. What are you looking forward to? Before you answer the next question, right? On what it is you're looking forward to for the rest of the year post COVID, I want to thank you for your leadership inside of the owners meetings. The voices need to be heard, and you're very, very good and not shying away from asking a question, and I appreciate that about you.
Yeah, it's a lot of times people get timid in those group sessions, and I'm not gun shy.
Yeah.
I may not be great inside Call of Duty as a player, but I'll do my best on the other side of the table and try to help us all out in those meetings. But yeah, sometimes these meetings get so lost into the weeds, and people forget big picture, or sometimes people need to be called out on some bullshit, right? And sometimes people try to sell you a bag of goods that they know ain't right.
Yeah.
And someone's got to call them out on it. And unfortunately, a lot of times that happens to be me. But I kind of relish that opportunity. I'm never trying to be rude to someone, but I think a lot of times shit needs to be said.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way we're going to move forward. Because if everyone's thinking it on our end, got to come out with it.
Yeah.
You know?
And
it's the only way you're going to get something.
You do a really good job at being respectful in the way that you position some thoughts, and I know that you see me on the side. I side text you with a retweet RT for what you just said. I'm the opposite. I get in there and I'm like, okay, this is my time to be a part of it. I can't be look at me. I got something to say. And also the way I talk.
The irony is like everyone's like, okay, Hex, what do you think? Astro, what do you think?
Yep.
Because we're all looking to you guys too.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, the way that I approach that is I'm finally able to sort of share this thing with everybody else that's a part of this machine, where before it was just like, okay, it's only my team, don't worry about anything else. Now I get to say, it's like, all right, we're all in this together, let's see what everybody's thinking.
Man.
Olivier from Paris, also super boisterous. I love that dude.
Yeah,
any single time I hear that French voice come through that speakerphone, I'm like, ooh, he's about to say something.
Yes. No, but it's right. The reality is we're only as good as our weakest link in this whole thing. And that includes the publisher and the game side, right? Like, we all need to be acting in unison. And if we're not, and you got people going this way and someone going this way, well, guess what? That means shit's going to be broken.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dude, it's been an interesting ride. That's for sure.
Yeah. I do like the fact that, Call of Duty or what we're dealing with, they've been very responsive in what we've been doing. Are we moving as fast as we should? Sure. I don't think so. But what we've been handed on year one of this new thing, I think that so far so good. But we do need a lot of people to be accountable for the stuff that they say that they're going to do. And at the end of the day, we all want to create some dope product that people are just going to love to be entertained by, and that is the end goal in every single thing. When you create something cool, money is going to follow. And if you put money, if you put business first in any product, I don't know. I don't think it works. I think everything that has been successful in life has come out of passion for something, whether it was building cars, whether it was building spaceships or building payment systems on the internet. Like everything comes from passion, right? Just because
Passion,
somebody
product and user experience.
And the user experience is the most important, man. That's why
Right.
we have to take care of that entertainment aspect of it. Ben, thank you so much. Hopefully one day, actually not hopefully, we will do this in person soon.
Yeah, man, I'm down.
And I'll take 2 hours of your time when we do that. We'll talk about everything.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, man. I really do appreciate it. And sorry for the disruption of the family quarantine podcast edition.
Not at all, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Asher, see you later, buddy. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. All of Ben's information is going to be listed down below. I'm going to put only his personal information because you need to follow my man's. And I do appreciate you guys stopping by. Leave a like on the video. Leave some questions. If you guys have some more for Ben, I'm sure that he'll be hit him up on Twitter if you have any questions or any additional thoughts that you may have on the podcast. Thank you so much. Matt, hit him with the music. We'll see you guys in the next one. Huge shout out to both HECZ and DoorDash for sponsoring the podcast. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.